I hope you're doing well. It is Monday. Welcome to a new week. It's January 12th, 2026. Welcome to Mind Heart Mondays. We are back with our series. I started this last week. It is called Mind Renewal, the stages and states of renewing the mind. And I'm back. We are going to get into the first stage, which is the mental rot detox. This is what I'm calling it because this is what it is. It is the stage where I am removing all that is toxic, all that is unhealthy, all that is gross, all that has plagued me and sickened my mind, and cleansing my mind. That's what this stage is all about. And that is what we're going to get into tonight. It's actually night where I am at. It's 7 p.m.-ish. I'm a little tardy, you guys. I apologize. Central Standard Time. But yeah, I just finished writing up the last of this this state and stage. So we are talking about mind renewal. We want to get to a space where my mind is sound. Because if I don't have a sound mind, I will not handle the insanity of the times that we are in. So I am praying and being that this series is going to bless you and equip you. And I am certainly here for one-to-one sessions if you're interested. We can talk about anything and everything. I'm a certified therapeutic life coach. I work with people all the time on the inner healing journey. So if this is something you're interested in, my name is Ruby, and you can reach out to me at shesrestored@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment with your email and let me know you're interested, and we can connect. I do all of my sessions virtually, so even if you're across the globe, we would do a Google Meet, and we would connect online. So yeah, if you're interested, reach out to me. I'd be honored to work with you. Okay, so let's get into this. The stages and states of mind renewal. By the way, I am also, for soul strengthening sessions, I am getting into maintaining your peace. So all of this, you guys, all of this is connected. It goes together. So if you're following me on Tuesdays or Wednesdays or any day of the week here on She's Restored, you're going to put all this together, and it's going to be glorious and healthy for you. And of course, I always feel when I write, when I come up with these teachings, I learn a lot myself, because a lot of this is also revelation and insights, and it helps me on my inner healing journey. So I get blessed in the process as well. So hi everybody. Everybody who's coming into chat, hello. If you have any questions, I will come back and answer, I promise. I welcome you to the channel and to the teaching, and I pray that you are blessed abundantly. Okay, so stage 1, I'm calling this mental rot detox, because we all have junk in our minds. We all do. Or we're in the process of recovering from the junk in our mind, and hopefully getting closer and closer to complete restoration. So the purpose of this stage, as I said earlier and last week when I briefly covered this, is to remove and to cleanse. Okay? Just as in our physical body, if we have disease and illness, if I want to be healthy, I must remove the sickness from my physical body. I must remove the sickness, and I must cleanse my body from the residual sickness. this is what we're doing to our mind when we are going through this detox. So all that is poison in my mental spaces, okay, all of it. The subconscious part of my mind, the conscious part of my mind, I must learn how to release this toxicity. It's so important. And this is going to go through all of it. This is going to go through and I'm going to get into this right now actually, but this is going to go through my past, my family lineage way of thinking, and my present thinking. So I'm going to get a complete overhaul when I do this, which is wonderful because that's what I want. So I'm going to get into this. You probably want to take notes actually for this series because I got a lot to share. Just FYI. And can you guys hear me okay, by the way? Let me check and see. I see a lot of people coming in the chat. Hi, everybody. Welcome, everyone watching. Welcome, everyone in the chat. I'm happy you're here. Feel free to ask anything, truly anything. Okay, so let's get into the past and how it has shaped the way I think. In this context, we're talking about, of course, renewal. So I want to let go of my old thought patterns. So believe it or not, like everything else, I can and often do inherit my family's mindset, my family's way of thinking. Why? Because I grew up in a household that thought a certain way, that lived a certain way, that did certain things. So some of how I think is inherited. It comes from my family lineage, whether it's my immediate family or lineage from centuries ago. It is there. It is part of how I grew up, how I think. Now, again, we're getting into. Did you guys hear that? That's our upstairs neighbor. It's so loud. So loud. Like anyways, I'm not going to complain. But if you did, I apologize. Cuz it was really loud. I thought our neighbors left, but I guess we got some new neighbors upstairs. Okay, so now we're talking about mental rot. So we're talking about toxicity in our mindset. Okay? So I'm going to use some examples. Let's say in the very general sense, I want to say it this way. Inherited thinking or mindsets, perhaps this was considered normal in your household. However, it at worst destroyed your sense of identity. Let me give you an example. Okay, so let's say your dad always yelled when you didn't do what he told you to do or he commanded you to do. Okay, some of us, this is very relatable for some of us because some of us did grow up in a very hostile household. What happens, however, and I'm going to use this as my example. So if you grew up with a parent that yelled, that was always getting angry at you when you didn't do what you were supposed to do, subconsciously, there is a brokenness in your mind from this. And of course, this can manifest in all kinds of ways, okay? Perhaps because this was considered normal, you now are attracted to partners that are not very nice to you. Because in your mind, that is how you are to be treated. Because, again, this is going back to those roots. Fathers bestow identity. Okay, and for women, this, I would say this is different for men and women because, again, we connect differently. Okay, but for a woman who, or for a girl, a young girl who grew up in a household with an angry father who she could never please, will have that wound, and if it's not taken care of, it will manifest in relationships. Okay, this gets very complex. Okay, so or let's say you were the youngest sibling in your family, or you are the youngest sibling in your family, and you were sort of the one that everyone picked on for whatever reason. You were different than everybody in the family. You stood out. So maybe now you're battling self-image, issues with your how you see yourself, and again, this can be so like broad. There's so many examples I could go into. Or you have self-identity issues because you felt like you never fit in. So now you're either you're on one extreme or the other, where you try to be like everybody or you want to be completely different from everybody. But this will manifest in all kinds of ways, okay? But this is what I'm talking about. Some of these things that we grew up with that we maybe never processed as this was not healthy. We carry this into our adulthood subconsciously because, again, it is trapped in the subconscious where trauma is stored. And why? Because family is the first point of contact with our sense of safety. This is so important. However, I do believe that children have an innate closeness with God that as adults we don't understand, and we probably all had this. But our immediate family is the first representation of everything spiritual that we should know. Okay, so my understanding of love, I first was demonstrated, or it was first demonstrated through my parents, through my siblings. If I was the youngest, or if I was a younger sibling, it's from my older siblings. If you're the older sibling, then you got the direct from the parents understanding of love, of worth. Again, from the mother side, from worth, from the father side, identity. This is so vital and important for us. And a lot of times we don't even think about this because it's just been this way for you, okay? But when it comes to this inherited thinking, when I'm going in deep in the trenches of recovery from mental toxicity, I must go into these spaces to truly understand the roots of why I think the way I do, why do I think about myself this way, why do I think about others, and certainly why do I think about God this way. A lot of it comes from our past, our family, our inheritance. Okay, so where are you in the process? This is important to know this for yourself. This process of making peace with your past and healing from the mother and father wound. Where are you in this process? This is very important. So, the general stages I will share with you on this are, I'm going to give you 3. And this goes across the board, okay? This goes when it comes to the inner healing journey. Where are you? So you're either in stage 1, which is avoidance. Okay, you're running away. And this can look all kinds of ways. One of them, believe it or not, is busyness. Do you find yourself way too busy to slow down and do anything? Are you constantly in a state of hurry and rushing around, and I gotta get this done, and I gotta go do that, and I gotta my schedule and my calendar and everything, and then you just barely have enough time to sleep, and then you're doing it all over again? This can be a form of avoidance with those issues that you have yet to deal with. Busyness, overcommitting to things that you don't even have time or energy for. It's a trauma response, okay? And a lot of this is actually anxiety. Sometimes we're not even aware that we're in anxiety, maybe because it hasn't even hit you physically yet. But trust me, it will if you don't deal with it. Anxiety is one crazy beast that attacks us all kinds of ways. But once it gets to the physical realm, you will have to stop and take notice. So I pray you're not there, but if you are, send me an email and we can work through some of those issues. An extreme of the busyness is laziness. You're actually on the opposite end where you just don't want to deal with anything. You don't have the energy, you don't have the motivation, you're not inspired. You're actually on the opposite end where you're just checked out. Don't want to deal. This is avoidance. Step 1. Or stage 1, I should say. The second stage is suppressing and repressing what is going on with you internally, that you know there's something there. Perhaps you even know what's going on, but you're not ready to deal with it. So you're escaping. You're escaping. So for some of us, this looks like addiction. You're addicted to alcohol, you're addicted to drugs, you're addicted to food, you're addicted to sex, you're addicted to all kinds of things to distract you from the roots of what's going on internally. That's the second stage. And then the third stage is the stage where I finally accept I need help, and this is acceptance. When you get here, you're ready to deal with the mental rot of what's going on with you. And this is the inner healing journey, and this is what I call the process. And in the process is when I can sort between healthy and unhealthy, healed and unhealed. I can begin to dig into my roots of brokenness, get in touch with my triggers because I need to know those. And then, of course, managing my mental mess. Okay? So this is the process here, what I'm getting into. Now, the second mental space, and I'm going to call this the passive mental muck. So passive thinking, I am going to boldly say this because this is what I believe. Passive thinking is the most dangerous space your mind can be in, because you are, in a sense, handing over your mind to whatever is coming at you. And in the day and age that we live in, it's a dangerous space to be in. And I will say it across the board. Across the board. When I am in passive thinking, I'm receiving information. So you have to remember this about the mind. The mind is created to, it's brilliant. God created our mind so brilliantly. It's so, the ability that our mind has to absorb knowledge and wisdom and all of it is profound. Because again, there's different spaces and levels of mental health, okay? So with that said, my mind is constantly being taught something at all times. And I'm either in tune with this in the present time, I am aware, like let's say you're going to college, you're going to school, you are aware I'm learning something new. I am receiving information, I'm studying, I'm in the present time doing this. But our mind is always learning, okay? So when I'm not sort of willfully thinking, I'm passively thinking, okay? So let me get into the dangers of this, because again, in our modern day, we have information coming at us all the time. This is no longer the 90s or the 80s where we would just sit in front of the TV and those were the messages, those were the images we were receiving, and then we go outside and play and be human the rest of the day. Okay, now we have phones, we have I'm sure there's more, you guys. Okay. The iPhone is plenty for me. I'm sure there's more. But we have information constantly coming at us all the time if we are not disciplined to put it down. Okay, and I'm going to get into that in a second. So, with this said, technology is a powerful tool. We know this. How's it going? Hi, everybody. Welcome. But we must remember to be careful and guard our mental space, our sacred human mental space. Okay, we were not created to connect to a machine 24/7. This is a new thing for us. Well, newer thing for us, okay? And it is changing how we think. So we have to be on guard and in the know about this so that we can guard our mind, okay? As I shared, and I have teachings on this, you are the gatekeeper of your spiritual gold, your mind. And I will challenge you, if whoever wants to take this challenge, okay? Because I have seen it for myself. I have had seasons where I don't get on my phone very much, and it is wonderful. I have clarity, I'm less irritable, I can process emotions. I mean, there's so much, okay? Then I've had other seasons, and I would say this is really one of them recently, because I had a health issue come up and I was on my phone, and I'm still trying to detox from this, and I've noticed again certain things. So with this understanding, this idea of connecting with our phones, we must come back to the humanity of ourselves, okay? There's a truth with the connection. Yes, it's like you have to find this balance. Yes, you can connect with others through the phone, through technology, through whatever. Yes, this is true. But also, if I'm too connected to my phone while I'm with others, then sometimes it brings disconnection to my human, again, current, present time relationships. So I must discern this very carefully. So with that said, I challenge you to, if you're not in a disciplined space where you can unplug, I challenge you one day a week. And this is actually something that, for the most part, has been part of my weekly just health, is to have a day of Sabbath, to have a day where I unplug from everything so that I can have a chance for my mind to settle. First of all, to unplug, because I have to decide at some point to stop all the flood of information, all the images, all the everything, so that my mind can rest, recalibrate, recover, and renew, which is what we're talking about here. Okay? So, passive thinking, dangerous space. I must have a good grasp on my own connection with technology and what I'm receiving as truth. That's another thing. What am I passively receiving as truth just because I hear it 20 times a day? We have to remember this as well. You know, there's systems in place. There's narratives in place. And if I don't guard my mind, I'm subject to just receive it as truth and allow it to penetrate my thought process as my belief system. You guys, I could do a whole teaching on this. Passive thinking, I have to be a little more discerning with what I'm allowing in. Now, present thinking. This is only as strong and healthy as I am taking care of the other two. Okay, so in other words, my mental health, we talk about mental health all the time. Everybody, it's a buzzword or buzz, you know, everybody talks about mental health, okay? But my mental health will only be as healthy as how well I am protecting my passive thinking and how well I have detoxed my mental rot inherited thinking. Okay? And the reason this is important as well is because my present thinking is where I'm making decisions. Okay? Those of you who've been rocking with me forever, I teach this all the time. The soul realm, its mind, heart, and will, its thoughts, emotions, and decisions. I make decisions based on how I feel and how I think. Okay, so if I'm to make healthy, good, wise decisions, then I must have a heart that is healthy, that is stable, that is centered, and I must have a mind that is sound. Okay? So, when I'm able to, I'm just seeing if you guys said anything else, sorry. When I'm able to assimilate my whole mind, and that is, again, there's four technically. There's three parts of the mind. My spiritual part of the mind, my God consciousness, how well I'm connected to the spirit. Then there's mental, intellectual part of the mind, reasoning, logic, you know, sensory realm, what makes sense to me, what I understand intellectually. And then there's the subconscious, which is the part of the mind that is kind of hidden from me until I access it. Okay, so all three of these must be in tandem. They must be in harmony and sync. And they're only going to be as healthy as I have been pouring into them. Okay? So once they are, though, okay, and this is where we're going to kind of wrap this up when I finish the series. But once they are, then I can be free from the mental rot that I'm trying to detox from and graduate to having a sound mind. And before that, I must graduate to recovery from the mental mess and toxicity, which is what we're going to get into next week. Next week, I'm talking about the recovery and the recalibration of your mind once I have gotten rid of all the junk that's in there. So join me next Monday for that. And if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, leave a comment for me, or email me. And of course, if you're interested in my one-to-one sessions, send me an email and we can set something up for you. shesrestored@gmail.com. And I am coming back. I believe I'm coming back tomorrow for our Maintaining Your Peace. Y'all, I started writing, I think it was last night. I started writing my second video, or not video, but my second teaching on maintaining your peace, because you guys, we have to have a sound mind. It's not even an option anymore. If you're going to survive these last days, these crazy days, we got to get our mind sound. Okay? So I pray this blessed you. Feel free to reach out if you all need anything, prayer. If you're going through something difficult or challenging, don't keep it to yourself. I am here, and I would be honored to work with you and help you on your inner healing journey. Presently, my sessions are $57 a session. All sessions are about an hour long. First consultation is free, so don't hesitate. Reach out to me. Our first session is free. Basically, in our first session, I would sit with you and just kind of listen, do an assessment, and see if it's something that you'd like to do. And then we'd go from there. So don't hesitate to reach out, because I really love y'all and I really want you guys ready and prepared for all of this madness that we're going through and what is coming, because there is more coming. Believe it or not, as crazy as it is now, there's more coming, and I want us ready. I'll be back tomorrow, so strengthening sessions, Recovery Tuesdays, and I'm going to be talking about maintaining your peace in the midst. Maintaining your peace in the midst of it all. And y'all, I gotta tell you, I have been, now part of this is my recovery, where the Lord has me. He's had me in this stage of release. That's a nice word that I'm gonna use, but it's actually more, it's probably more like a purge than a release, or that's how it feels. It's a good place though. It's not fun, but it's necessary, and I want it. I want to be free. I want to be released. So I'd love to hear where God has you. If you want to share, you can either share it here or you can share it via email. And just take heart. If you're in a season where things are hard, just remember it's process, and He's got you, and it is part of getting to where He wants us to be. So, love y'all so much. Hope you have a great night. I will be back mañana. I'm not sure what time. I might do it sooner than 7. I probably will, actually. And then I'll come back on Wednesday for our anxiety class, or live stream Q&A, actually. So if you're struggling with anxiety, come back on Wednesday. You'll see me then. Or reach out for a one-to-one session. And yeah, that's it. I'll talk to you guys mañana. Have a good night. Bye.